My name is Liz Partsch,
And I am Paul Rowley,
and welcome to Farm and Dairy's virtual newsletter.
where we will be giving you a rundown of all of the news this week.
Yes, and wow, we got some
We
stories.
do.
I will say, everyone, get ready to hear a lot of weird and slightly terrifying insects, aka we've deemed them vampires for cattle.
Right.
Because this week I wrote about the Asian longhorned tick.
Ooh.
But don't fear, the University of Pittsburgh is conducting a study on the Asian longhorned tick and is seeking farmers' input via surveys and farm visits.
Okay, I feel better already. So
Yeah. We're here to help.
Yeah.
There's help on the way.
Mhm.
So in case you don't know about this tick, it was first discovered in the U.S. in New Jersey in 2017.
Of course, New Jersey.
Yeah. And it first appeared in Pennsylvania in 2018 and in Ohio in 2020.
Okay.
And since then, the tick has spread to 22 states and 27 Pennsylvania counties.
Oh, why?
And the Asian longhorn tick has spread so rapidly because females can reproduce actually asexually by attaching themselves to a blood meal or a host animal and laying between 2,000 to 3,000 eggs.
Ew.
Yeah. And Danielle Tufts, assistant professor at Pitt's School of Public Health and researcher of the study, had told me that information. And these ticks particularly pose a threat to livestock, as they can do a number of things, including something called exsanguination, which, by the way, I think that word is fascinating.
It really
but,
is, yeah.
It's also terrifying
Yeah.
because it actually means sucking the blood out of all of the blood out of an animal.
Yuck.
Yeah, so vampire.
Yeah.
And that actually happened to three of an Ohio farmer's cattle in 2021.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Like a juice box.
Yeah, literally, they sucked it right out. Anyways, these ticks can also transmit pathogens, most commonly known as bovine filariasis, which can lead to anemia, fever, lymph nodes, swelling, and even death. So Pitt researchers are conducting the study to better understand the risks these ticks pose to livestock.
Gotcha.
But they need Pennsylvania's farmers' help, as I said. So researchers are asking farmers across the whole state to complete a 5-minute survey about the ticks. They're also looking for cattle, goat, and sheep farmers in western and central Pennsylvania who are interested in farm visits where researchers will sample pastures as well as livestock for Asian longhorn ticks.
Okay.
And that can include blood samples on the livestock as well.
Yeah.
So to read more about these blood-sucking vampire-esque cattle, or not cattle, ticks, as well as the study itself and how you can help, visit farmanddairy.com or find your local newsstand.
Yeah. And if you got to step up, farmers, come on. We need your
we
help.
got to save the cattle.
Yeah. Well, I have another terrifying story. So if you are just joining us and you have never heard about the New World screwworm, consider yourself lucky. It is the kind of pest that feels like it has come out of a curse from folklore. It's a nightmare of nature. The screwworm fly lays eggs in open wounds on livestock, because of course it does. And then those eggs are born as maggots. They burrow into the animal's open wounds, and then they feed on them and dig deeper as they feed, kind of like a screw going into wood, which is where it gets its name from. Left untreated, these wounds become deadly. The animal can die. It will suffer all these terrible fates. This parasite was once eradicated mercifully from the United States many years ago, but now officials are watching it as it encroaches closer and closer to our southern border, and that is worrying everybody. So on July 9th, officials in Mexico confirmed a new case of New World screwworm identified in Veracruz, which is only about 370 miles away from the U.S.-Mexico border. Too close for comfort. Because of this latest case, U.S. officials have hit pause on reopening key southern livestock ports. They were just about to kind of maybe phase those open again after some earlier cases of screwworm detections in New Mexico. That is all on hold now because screwworm is like, I'm not finished with you guys yet. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rowland said that until then, the U.S. is going to take every precaution it can to protect the U.S. livestock industry. The move means cattle, bison, horses from parts of Mexico are again barred from entering the U.S. through southern ports. It is a very tough blow for livestock producers who rely on that cross-border trade. They would very much like for that to continue again. But ag groups like the National Cattlemen's Beef Association are backing the decision. NCBA CEO Colin Woodall says that the threat to the national herd supply is just simply too great. And he did not say this, but I assume that he means this as well. Screwworm is just too icky. To fighting this pest, the USDA is expanding its control program. The agency recently launched a bold plan, and that's in quotations. That includes new containment zones in Mexico, tighter surveillance of the screwworm, and then construction of a sterile fly facility in Mission, Texas. And that facility is going to produce and release icky flies that can't reproduce, so they're a little less icky, helping to stamp out wild populations of the screwworm before they take hold. So that's cool.
Flies to the rescue.
Exactly. The ultimate goal is obviously to push the screwworm back to actually an area called the Darien Gap, which is a major migration route, actually, deep in Central America, back to where it is spawned from, I guess. Until then, officials are staying on high alert, and we're just going to hope and pray that we don't have to deal with any terrifying insect.
We already got one terrifying insect
Yeah, for
here.
real.
Let's keep that one out.
hmm
Anyways, and this week's paper, we also included a story from the Associated Press about wildfires.
Oh.
Yeah, that are occurring along the Grand Canyon's North Rim,
Why?
which destroyed a historic lodge and have been burning for over a week.
Oh.
Yes, the wildfire was sparked by lightning on July 4th, which I guess was a bad day because
Yeah.
I think that's when the Texas floods
That's right,
kind
yeah.
of started too.
Mhm.
The handling of the fire has seen particular scrutiny from Arizona Governor Kate Hobbs,
Hmm.
who called for a federal investigation into the Park Service's efforts.
Oh.
And that's because authorities first used a confine and contain strategy by clearing fuel sources, and then later switched to a more aggressive suppression of the fire, as it had spread to nearly 8 miles due to hot temperatures, low humidity, and strong winds,
Gotcha.
which really apparently are the ideal conditions for wildfires. And many are wondering why that aggressive approach didn't happen sooner.
I see.
So the fire destroyed the Grand Canyon Lodge, which is the only lodging inside the park's North Rim,
Oh.
at the park's North Rim,
Yeah.
and dated back to 1937. So it's pretty old, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is just one of several fires burning in the country right now. Another wildfire is burning in southwestern Colorado's
Oh, my.
Black Canyon and Gunnison National Park, which was also started by lightning on July 10th.
Oh.
So it seems like lightning, may have a part
Yeah.
in sparking some of these wildfires. But
Yeah.
it's pretty seeing some lot of wildfires.
Yeah, if Zeus could
Yeah,
just
it's
cool
time.
it with the lightning bolts.
I
that would
know
be
he needs
great.
to calm down.
Yeah. I have wrote a story this week about a little field in Cecil, Ohio, just near an old cemetery and downstream from the Maumee River, where something is happening. A farm field, as the one I just mentioned, which has produced for years corn and soybeans, is coming back to life, but not as a farm field, no. This time it is returning as a wetland. This field lies just below Forder Bridge, or near Forder Bridge, where years of fertilizer runoff from the field would drain into the nearby Marie de Larme Creek, and then that spills into the Maumee River, and then that spills into Lake Erie, helping to fuel all of those toxic algal blooms that you've heard me prattle on so many often times about and for so long. But now this field is part of this bigger vision. It's a project that's being led by the Ohio Department of Natural Resources in partnership with the Black Swamp Conservancy and funded through Governor Mike DeWine's H2 Ohio initiative. The land is being transformed into a wetland, something that can hold water, filter pollution, and then also bring back some habitat for wildlife, which is really cool as well. Rob Crane, executive director of the Conservancy, put it this way. He said, "I don't know that people appreciate to the extent that Northwest Ohio, Toledo, even Fort Wayne, Indiana was once a swamp. And that swamp in question was the Great Black Swamp, which was quite large.
Wow, that's crazy.
Geographically, yes. It was eventually cleared and drained in the name of agriculture over a century ago. But Crane reminded me, at least, why but we're still draining it every single day with our subsurface drainage tiles. The way that water is not really held on the land anymore, it's moved quickly off. And when that happens, the water will wash away the nutrients that are in our fields today. And that's what's causing all of the trouble in the lake in large part. Now that pattern is being reversed. Missy Elliott, one field at a time. When restoration is complete on this field, it's going to include winding stream paths, kidney-shaped wetland cells, and really wide floodplains, which is far cry from the narrow ditches that were built to flush water off of the land. Eric Sass with ODNR said that was exactly the point. He also joined us at this field as well. He said, "We're trying to restore habitat in a way that promotes water quality," which is lovely. Across Ohio, meanwhile, scientists from 6 different universities are tracking dozens of restored wetlands to see how well they actually respond to any of these, means of restoring them, and how the wetlands are really functioning. And with extreme rain and drought becoming more common, researchers are really trying to use like data and new cool modeling techniques to figure out how well the wetlands can adapt to all of those changing conditions and protect how they can continue to protect our water supply for years to come. However, just weeks ago, in spite of all of this rosy good news that I'm talking about, the state legislature actually slashed funding for H2 Ohio from $270 million in the last biennium to just $165 million in this one over the next 2 years. That is a 40% cut of its budget. And ODNR's part of that, their money to implement that H2 Ohio work, was cut by more than half.
Wow.
Groundbreaking on the project in the field that I was talking about is still set for this fall. All of the projects that are currently underway are not impacted by those budget cuts, but the loss of funding could slow future projects and make it harder to keep restored wetlands healthy in the long run. So
Wow.
to read the rest of that, check out the article in the paper.
It's a pretty big cut.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got another story coming along.
Yes.
This week, contributing writer for Farm and Dairy, Judy Coab, wrote about the new cadets at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point.
Oh, exciting.
Yes, and she traveled to New York for this.
Oh.
So in this story, she describes the trials and tribulations cadets will endure before graduating in 2029, and who will afterward, when they graduate, serve 5 years in the military and 3 years in the reserves. So wow, what a commitment there.
Yeah, really.
But she asks, why do these cadets subject themselves to such a challenge in the first place? Well, many do it for the challenge themselves, or, they have family members who served before them, including Kao Sunyoshi of Streetcom, Washington, who was inspired by U.S. soldiers on a high school trip to the Korean demilitarized zone between North and South Korea.
Some trip.
I know, right? Crazy. Like, who goes to North Korea for a high school trip? That's awesome.
Yeah.
As well, his dad was also a Vietnam draftee, too.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Others like Leanna Ariana Ramos of Pennsylvania wanted to take advantage of the highly rated college education and make future friends as well. And this year especially is very special year for the Academy as the Army celebrates its 250th birthday.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Ransley, director of admissions, said the class of 2029 stands as a living tribute to the enduring call to service. So to read more about the ceremony and all these new cadets, visit farmanddairy.com or find your local newsstand.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was very, very descriptive,
Yeah.
nice story. So
Yeah. I didn't go anywhere cool in high school. That was too bad.
yeah, I actually think I went to a garbage dump. Seriously, it was one of my trips. We didn't even get off the bus. We just toured a garbage dump.
That's fantastic. Well, in this issue, actually, the paper, we have part 3 of the racing report. It's a 5-part photo essay that's been running in Farm and Dairy issues this summer, capturing the life and passion of local racers. Yes, in Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Applause to them. Meet Evo Burden. He is 8 years old. He should be in a Pixar film for his racing
Oh my God.
line, but don't let his age fool you. He is a junior sprint driver with a need to speed. His heroes are Ryan Blaney and Dale Earhart Jr., and he actually shared in this article the secret to his own success. He said, "Do you want to know how I went so fast in that last race? I kept my foot down on the gas the entire time."
Wow.
That's the secret.
Good advice.
Yeah, great advice. The junior sprint cars are not actually like lightning fast. They top out around 25 horsepower, which I hear I don't know what a horsepower is, but I think they're quite slow. But that's good that it's only very little because he is 8 years old. But he's still all in. He's already grabbed a few third-place finishes, which is very impressive. And he is learning how to do all of the things, take the cars around the corners and the tracks and stuff. It's not all podiums and checkered flags, though. During the race that is actually featured in the article, he had some contact with like another driver. And so it knocked like the wheel out, like very dramatic fashion, right? His night ended safely and early with his first DNF, which means do not finish. And then he was back home later that night, like getting in the pajamas, like getting ready for bed, like an 8-year-old. But very, very cool. Thank you to photojournalist Matthew Chasney for capturing Evo's journey and for the Burden family for letting us ride along.
Wow, he's such a great photographer.
Yeah, very much
Definitely
so.
check out
Such
his
a cool
stories.
series. So, yeah. And that is our top stories for the week.
Yeah. To read the full stories, go to farmanddairy.com or find your local newsstand.
Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.